sportsday.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Overall, we've improved running the ball. I mean, our quick game has been a lot better. I mean, like you said, not turning the ball over as much as we did last year. That killed us a lot of times. So we're just being smarter, I think. They're kind of a passive team on defense, as far as I'd say. They kind of like to keep everything in front of them, don't let the deep shot, nothing over the top. So we just got to be able to sustain drives and be smart with the football and just keep our jobs up front and know what we're doing.
Just happy with all the work the guys have put in, and obviously tonight's a big one with district championship on the line, as well as senior night for us. So for our guys, it's a big night. We've got a great group of seniors, and definitely like to send them out the right way.
I feel like we can be even more robust just from the mere fact that I don't feel like we've put together a full game as a football team, a complete game as an offense, and that's one of the things that we're excited about, because understanding that, man, we haven't touched the peak of our performance that we can have.
I just have to be better at working from within the pocket, and then when I do scramble, know there's going to be a guy there. So it's something that I'm obviously aware of, so I just have to make sure I can continue to be even better working within the pocket to make those throws downfield.
I don't know. I'm actually really excited for the draw. We've seen these kids, of course, multiple times throughout the season. Goddard Eisenhower only once, and then, there's Hutch. We love Hutch. Hutch is a great game. They're extremely talented. It's our third time. Third time's a charm.
I would say May South is right there with the co-favorite with us. If you take their times from their league meet this past week and compare it with ours, they're right there, the co-favorite. If not favorite.
Pitch from Severino, a swing and a high drive to deep left field, and it is gone.
Good afternoon and welcome to Sports Day. Alongside Mike Corson, I'm Mike Kesher as we bring you a Friday edition of Sports Day, and has been most of the fall here. Sports Day on Fridays. We are absent the captain. Steve Webster is not in studio today. He has other obligations, so it's just Mike Corson and I as we bring you Sports Day. It's presented to you by Barton Community College and Barton Community College Athletics. We do enjoy the support of Barton County, and we'll actually have a couple of the Barton County women's soccer coach and one player will be in to talk to us a little bit later. Sounds of the past 24 hours. We start with Caden Sharman of Great Bend High School. And as we've talked about a couple times, Mike Corson, most of the young people that have come in here for this show have been very well spoken. And I guess I missed him the first time, but he was very impressive when he was in here yesterday with Coach Beck.
The learning curve on these kids has been super sharp. So Caden was in the first time. I think he was good the first time. But by the second time a lot of them come in, we're old hat by now. we're professionals.
We're experienced. And thoughts tonight on Garden City? I'm not going to ask you for prediction because you're not up. So thoughts on tonight's game?
Well, so I had some stats up here, but Garden City, it surprises me. I thought they were going to throw the ball for them. Only like 480 yards passing this year, 1,900 on the ground. So it's going to be similar to a Dodge City game where you got to stop the run. 6A school. So I think Garden, based on what they've done this year, is going to be more athletic than Dodge, but it's the same thing. Ulysses ran the ball. Dodge ran the ball. Hayes ran the ball. Can you stop the run? Because Great Bend's they mix it up a little better.
Between rushing and passing?
Yeah, so I really like the offensive side with Great Bend. It's just going to be, are they going to get 4 yards a carry and do that all night, which is evidently what they like to do. Yeah, they got a kid, I dare you to try to say that name, Zach Kosenfat, 160-pound senior, 737 yards, 13 touchdowns. Then they got a kid who was a state medalist in the 6A 100 and 200 that runs the ball a little bit, so always challenging when they get some open space.
After Caden Sharman, we heard from Zach Baird as the Hoisington Cardinals look to clinch. I don't think they've clinched quite yet. They need to win tonight over Cimarron to clinch a district title, and Zach Baird is going to hopefully send the seniors off with a good shot.
Yeah, it seems like every year they're winning the district title, and I believe they're pretty heavily favored to do that tonight. So the 2A, we were looking at the 2A bracket. It really gets interesting in the second and third rounds, and Hoisington will eventually have to deal with that, but we kind of expect to see them up there.
Well, and that's, a good team wants to battle a good team, but I know southeast of Saline is waiting on the other side down the road, but they'll face that turtle when they have to if they get that far.
Yeah, you got Nemaha Central out east, but out here in west, we got southeast of Saline and Kingman, both undefeated, so they're 1-3. So wherever Hoisington falls, wherever either of those schools fall, it is going to be a matchup down the road.
And we do talk with Chet Kuplan. He is the guru of Friday football in the state of Kansas, and he actually talks a little bit about both of those teams that you mentioned there. He was really high on Kingman. He's like, everybody's overlooking Kingman. So we'll talk with Chet Kuplan coming up in a few minutes. And then we have Deuce Vaughn as K-State. Believe they go in with a record of 5-1 as they take on TCU this week. So we'll see how the Cats survive. They had last week off.
Yeah, and life was a lot easier. You don't have to be, I got to be home at 2:30 or 7. So now that K-State are irrelevant, 7 o'clock is must-see TV Saturday night. That's a big game.
Okay. Yes, it is. And let's see. Is it on TV? I can't not see.
I believe we were in primetime on FS1.
Okay, hold on a second. Webby has that highlighted for me. You're all right. 7 o'clock start on FS1. As you look at last year, K-State leads the series 8-7, and they won last year 31-12. So K-State taking on TCU, and they're both right up there at the top of the Big 12.
Yeah, both unbeaten. K-State is kind of determined to be a running team at this point, I would guess. Tyson can throw it a little bit, but TCU's capable of hammering up the points, so it'll be interesting.
Then we heard from Patrick Mahomes as the Chiefs go to San Francisco. And I think the big point is the 49ers traded for Christian McCaffrey last night. And so I've read some situations this morning where they thought he would play. I'm not sure how effective he would be because, he's not going to know the offense very well.
Does he play quarterback?
He's a running back. Come on. You know that.
Super fast kid. You being the giant Denver fan you are, I'm sure you know his dad was one of the toughest guys to ever play the game. I actually like Christian, but wish he wouldn't have gone out west. There were mentions of him wearing a different color of red.
Really? Where?
Well, with the Chiefs restructuring Kelsey's deals, there was who are they freeing up space for? And McCaffrey's name, I believe, was mentioned.
And we talked about that a little bit this morning, is about how, the Travis Kelsey did loosen up some cap space for the Chiefs, and there was thoughts of McCaffrey coming to Kansas City. I've also heard Odell Beckham Jr., which I'm not sure he would be a good fit in the clubhouse, but I'm just a person who lives in central Kansas.
Yeah, he's definitely Showtime when, obviously their big matchups, Buffalo. Are you shoring up the offense, or do you need a defensive piece? But it seems like everybody's talking about offense.
Yeah, they sure do. And, once again, the Chief is putting the team ahead of themselves. I guess the comment I read was Travis Kelsey was like, so they're going to give me money now? Well, yeah, I'll take it if it clear up some cap space.
I wonder what he would think about bringing in a high-level receiver. He's the big dog right now.
I thought
Frankly,
that as well.
I would just use him more. I don't know that I would pick one of those edge rushers up.
The Chiefs do play in San Francisco. That game can be heard on 104.3 The Point. Pregame show at 2 o'clock, and kickoff is set for 3:25. And then we heard from Shelley Duvall. She is the coach of the Great Bend High School volleyball team, and they head to Substate, and their Substate is not easy, Mike Corson.
No, and it's kind of a mixed bag there where you've seen the two teams. They've beat you twice on your home court. Hutch was a couple of the losses last year, so they kind of reloaded, got the girl from Nickerson. Really tall, athletic team. I think they were 6A to start the year, dropped down to 5 and came in at number 5, and then Eisenhower's number 10 in 5A. So we did see them at home. Both of them are a little bit bigger than we are, but Great Bend has been hot, so volleyball is about momentum, so go get it done.
Great Bend and Goddard will play the first match of the day, followed by Hutchinson and Mays. They start at 2 o'clock. No. Okay, it's Hutchinson and Mays play the first game, and then Great Bend follows, if I read that wrong.
Yeah, we get one of those approximately 20 minutes.
Oh, that's always okay. And then tomorrow, I think you've actually talked me into going to this, is the Cross Country Regional for 5A and 2A will be at Lake Barton, and you could see two of the better runners, if not the best runners in the state of Kansas, out there tomorrow.
Oh, so you listen to the show?
I listen to you, Mike Corson.
Yes, I was talking about it with Steve this morning, so different audience maybe, but if you've never seen a cross-country race, you're going to have kids that give it their all. You think they're tired, they think they're tired.
Oh, yeah, you talked about them heaving at the end. I recall now, yes.
They find that extra gear, especially when there's groups of them, and especially if state placements or qualifications on the line. Those kids will find the extra gear, and it's frankly unlike anything you typically see in sport.
I was a cross-country runner in high school, but I never treated it quite like that. But We went out. That's all I can say.
Well, sometimes I'm the photographer near the finish line, and they will come over, and it's close calls.
Okay.
Don't wear your best shoes out to the.
You got to move quick. The girls' race on 5A starts at 10. The boys' race will start at 10:40, and then we move to 2A, and that will include Ellenwood. And the girls' race there starts at 11:20. The boys' race to follow at noon, and there is. The Mays young lady is very good, as is the Stanton County girl.
Yeah, Salina Central. So
Salina Central.
Coach thinks Mays or Mays South will be up there because our girls won last year, and we've been pretty good all year. So I would have pegged us as favorites, but Coach knows. So hopefully we got a good race there. And then, we wanted to see Caitlin Roop from Salina Central and Chesney Peterson from Stanton race together just to.
It would be interesting if they would have a separate race for those two. I mean, because obviously they're more than likely will dominate.
I think people would stick around just for.
I know I would. I saw the gal Peterson.
Yes.
I saw her at the track meet, the state track meet last year, and she was lapping people like in a mile within a lap and a half.
Sometimes it's easy to ride off 2A kids because it's a smaller classification. Maybe the comp's not there, but good thing about track is those times are objective, and she's all-time among Kansas's.
That's amazing. And then we heard finally the play-by-play of the Houston Astros as they defeated, as Alex Bergman hit a 3-run homer. That was the only runs the Astros needed as they defeated the New York Yankees 3-2. But I did read a little bit about a called strike that wasn't called, or no, it was a pitch that was a little bit low that they called the strike, and the Yankee fans weren't happy because they think it took the bat out of the hands of Aaron Judge with a chance to tie it, I believe.
Oh, maybe they're newcomers to baseball, but that probably happens about once an inning.
I was going to say.
We call them borderline pitches, Mike.
Which gets into automatic umpiring or the robot.
And I like right calls, but doesn't it take away kind of the romance? But if you hear the stories from the old umpires, they'll flat tell you that, no, we didn't like this guy, so they would tell people, I'm not giving him anything within a foot.
Well, and the thing on the Aaron Judge call, it was 3-0. And, there is a thing in baseball that any pitch close 3-0 is going to be called a strike. Yeah. And this one was. And if you're 0-2, any pitch close, we call the ball, so it'll be 1-2. So that came into play a little bit as well last night.
And Judge did take one to the track right at the end of the game, and the guy made a jumping catch, I guess. So it wasn't a rob, but it definitely would have hit the yellow on the wall. But so the other thing with the strikeouts is, 17 strikeouts in the game one and at least 11 last night. Are they swinging for the fence every time? Or, what's George Brett think about that?
Well, I'm old school, and I always was taught move the runner along. So I'm not a big proponent of the strikeout, but it's gone down to strikeouts or home runs. That's pretty much the way the game of baseball is played right now.
Yeah, and Kansas City's 2015 run might have been the last of that. Hopefully not the last of that era where it was small ball. It was Get a guy on base, pinch hit, pinch run.
Get him over. And we did receive an email yesterday, and we will tell you about Hoisington. The golf team did fairly well at the state tournament. Bruce Cooper is the head coach. He's been there forever, and I believe they finished 4th as a team, and they had a couple medal winners.
Yeah, we've been talking about it downstairs all week, but now we'll give them some airtime.
Yes.
So, 3-2-1A, they lump them up. Private schools, you know how they like to run the show. So, St. Mary's Colgan wins by 51 stroke, which seems kind of
That's
embarrassing
crazy
for Keisha to put them in there. And then individually, 6 of the top 8 individual golfers were from private schools.
Really? Okay.
But the top 20 get state medals, and so senior Ava Henry for Hoisington was 12th place, 180 strokes, missed the top 10 by 2 strokes. Junior Tricia Schramer, 14th with a 184. And so Schramer was actually 2 strokes ahead of Ava going into the final day, but they kind of went different directions on that last day. Ava climbed in the top 12. Other team scores, 38th was Addison Guthrie, 44th, Lexus Petersilly, 48th, Allie Karst, and Kaylee Shives was in there at 51st with a 222.
Well, congratulations to Bruce Cooper as he continues to show why he was the National Coach of the Year a few years ago.
Kind of an institution over there.
Yes, he is. And every year I keep hearing, he's going to retire. He's going to retire. Well, he's,
and he did kind of step back for...
He did, but he keeps coming back.
They can't. A lot of them can't stay. The greats can't stay.
Well, that's true. And we would like to have Bruce Cooper on, but, Bruce is kind of quiet sometimes. So Coming up on the show, we have Chet Kuplan. You are talking with Mr. Gumbo, Lyles Lashley, correct?
And we got soccer kids on.
Oh, we got soccer all over the place, right? We got Barton soccer coming in. Oh, that was Chuy was in. Okay, Chuy's coming in. Okay, I really know what's going on this.
Maybe someday I'll tell you ahead of the show.
That's not that I would listen or remember either one. So this sports day is presented by Barton Community College. Train for a new career at Barton Community College in areas like carpentry, network security, or pharmacy tech. Learn more at gobarton.com. And we'll take a break. I believe we had Chet Kuplan coming up next. You're listening to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. I'm Mike Hesher. The other voice you heard this afternoon was Mike Corson. We'll be right back with Chet Kuplan.
This is Barton Community College Athletic Director Trevor Rolfs. The Barton Athletic Department is proud to sponsor Sports Day on KVGB, a show that showcases all of our high school student athletes in central Kansas, some whom will continue their educational and athletic future with us here at Barton. We're excited about the fall sports season that is now underway and invite you to attend a game or a match and experience the rich tradition of Cougar athletics. For complete schedules and results, visit bartonsports.com.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
We had a lady that was having some severe back and hip pain, and we worked with her for about 6 to 7 weeks, and we were able to actually restore greater than 80% of her mobility, and we were able to keep her from actually needing that surgery for about 4 years.
You don't need to hurt. Physical therapy can help. Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
Somebody's going to win $10,000 to spend at any of our sponsor locations on December 16th, and it could be you. All you have to do is qualify. You can register anytime at any one of our sponsor locations or stop by today during a special instant finalist day happening at Next Tech Wireless at 10th and Madison in Great Bend. Scott Donovan here with Junie. Hello. Tell us about these specials that you have going on right now in Spanish.
Ahorita tenemos unas promociones. Si traes un teléfono, puedes agarrar un teléfono ANA, sería un teléfono de 14 o 13. Y si traes una nueva línea, puedes agarrar un crédito de 150 o un mitad precio de una watch.
So a little bit of options there if you want to take advantage of that, but free phones, you can't go wrong during the holidays. Judy, thank you. We appreciate it. If folks want to find out more, they can come on in and visit with you anytime, right?
Oh, yes.
Sarah, her first time on the radio. How about it? Let's hear it for Junie. Way to go. Come on by before 5. Get yourself qualified here. They're shopping over the holidays. $10,000 shopping spree from our friends at Mater Plumbing, Heating, and Air, your Brian dealer, and Bauer Computers. Good luck.
Okay, welcome back to Sports Day. I'm Mike Hesher. As we do on most Friday afternoons, we talk to Chet Kuplan from sportsinkansas.com. That's sportsinks.com. And if you're looking for the most comprehensive review of Friday high school football in the state of Kansas, I recommend going to sportsinks.com, as Chet and his crew do a wonderful job. And as he has most of the year, Chet has been bragging about the Eastern Kansas League. And last night, Chet, I did talk to a gentleman who basically confirmed that. He was a football coach at Garden City, and the Buffaloes hosted a team from the EKL, and his quote was, "They came to Garden City and kicked our butts." So the Eastern Kansas League, as always, continues to be the best across the state of Kansas.
Of course, no question in my mind that it's the state's best league. We talk about it each and every week. You have Bishop Miege, Aquinas, both that are 6-1, 5-2 respectively, 5-1 in league play. And then, of course, you have Blue Valley Northwest, the 6A state champion. They've won a couple in a row. They're against Miege this week, so that's definitely an interesting matchup there. Of course, Aquinas this week is against Blue Valley Southwest. So you look at Aquinas overall, and you think they're probably that favorite team in 4A, beating Miege, of course, a few weeks ago, blasting Blue Valley last week, and a team that's beat Blue Valley Northwest. Now, we still have to factor in Miege and, of course, St. James in the conversation. Of course, St. James, 2-3, 4-3 overall. They're against Blue Valley North this week. They've won 4 games in a row. So this is a team that has slowly gotten better. We've seen that over the last couple seasons. They have won, of course, back-to-back state titles in Class 4A. So the Eastern Kansas League continues to be the best league in the state of Kansas. Once again, I would not be shocked at all to see 3 teams across the board. Actually, I would be shocked now because we don't have that team in 5A. Mill Valley is no longer a part of that, neither is Aquinas, but 6A and 4A for sure. I think we'll see teams in the state championship game from that conference.
Switching to a little bit smaller class, that's Opie. Opie is a very good ball club, and their defense is getting better as we get closer to playoff time. They have a shutout in 3 straight games.
It's no surprise to me that Opie is doing what they're doing on defense. Of course, one of those games is forfeit, but you look, the last 3 games they've at least played in have been shutouts. I know the last 4 have been shutouts with their 1-0 forfeit victory over Northern Heights. And they've also done that on the road. Blasted a Jayhawk Lynn team last week that was previously unbeaten. Caney Valley traditionally is a pretty good program, no matter if they're 2A, 3A. And they'll do the same thing likely to Central Heights this week. Their only losses to Hayden in week 1 that was much closer than it looked. Hayden is, of course, a team in 3A that's a contender. Bishop Ward is much improved, and I feel like if they played Bishop Ward now, it'd be a little bit different. Opie was replacing nearly everybody off back-to-back state title teams. They are in the driver's seat. They are still, I feel like, the favorite team in this classification so far. So I know that there's other teams to look at that we certainly need to talk about. St. Mary's and St. Mary's Colgan. Of course, those teams, Troy and Centralia as well. The West, it becomes maybe a little bit more wide open after Conway Springs and their big upset victory. Braden Coons ran all over Inman last week. So, of course, you have your usual suspects. Will Smith Center be there? Will Bonsi over on the West as well, who beat Smith Center? Going to be interesting in Class 1A this year.
Talking with Chet Kuplan from sportsinkansas.com. That's sportsinks.com as he gives us an update on Friday Football Fever, and we move to Class 5A, where last week there was a battle of top 5 teams, and there was little question of who came out as the best team out of the 2 between Hutchinson and Mays.
I think everybody's been overly impressed with Mays, and they might be the best squad in Kansas so far this year. Really have just been dominating most of their competition outside of course, Derby, but you look at the 41-13 victory over Hutchinson. It'll be, in similar fashion this week. But outside of that 52-51 shootout, they have just dominated everything in their path. Now, do I question their schedule overall? Maybe a little bit. I don't think it's anywhere near to that of maybe what some of the teams are facing in the EKL for sure, but maybe even the Sunflower League as well. Does that mean that, Mays can't win a title because of some of the games they played? No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I just think that, we don't know enough about him yet. We do know one thing. Avery Johnson is the real deal. So is his receiving core. The defense has stepped up big this year as well. Really, the only points allowing 26 to May South and 51 to Derby. Outside of that, they have just been outstanding. I expect similar results this week against Hayesville Campus, who is struggling at 1-6, has lost their last 4 ball games of the year. So this one at home to finish out the final regular season game of the career of Avery Johnson before they move on to the playoffs. But still do feel like the ABCTL one's pretty good. It's very top-heavy with Mays and Derby. Outside of that, there's probably some teams in the middle of the pack, those being Newton, May South, Hutchinson, and, of course, Hayesville Campus and Salina South really struggling so far. But Mays, the real deal. I expect them really to get back to that state title game once again.
Moving to a little bit closer to home, the Great Bend Panthers continue to roll. They have now won 5 straight, but they have their hands full tonight as they travel to western Kansas and they take on the Garden City Buffaloes.
I think we really got to, tip our hat to Great Bend this year. They have been fantastic here recently. Is the schedule great compared to some 5A, 6As across the state? Not necessarily. But let's give a shout out here. They have won 5 games in a row. Of course, a nail-biter last week, 27-22. Of course, Braden Council has been big at the receiver position. Huge night. They've been good. This is a team that is looking to win their 6th consecutive game in a row. They started out 0-2. Of course, it's been rough the last couple of years for this program, but really have turned it around for a winning season. So shout out to the Panthers. Of course, 0-9 last year and 0-7 the year before. So the Western Athletic Conference line, of course, this week, and we'll see what happens in that big matchup with Garden City and Great Bend. Of course, Hayes winning the conference. They've won their last 4. They're at Topeka High this week. And I think people thought Hayes would drop off a little bit. Malik Baugh, over 1,200 yards rushing. He has been outstanding out of the backfield. Tony Crow really knows what he's doing there at Hayes. As I said, 4 in a row. They'll win big at Topeka High this week. And really, I don't think a lot of people predicted Great Bend to be in this position. 5-2, 2-1 in league play, and an opportunity to hang with Garden City this week, if not beat Garden City. Garden City's been impressive as well. They've won their last 3 games, including winning, of course, the Riverfront Stadium game at the AA ballpark. A lot of football games being played there this year. They win 28-14 in the Hatchet game. They've won their last 3 over Liberal, Ulysses, and Dodge City. So I do question some of the schedule overall, but they battled with Hayes, lost by 4. But I think the Buffaloes are an improved team this year as well under head coach Brian Hill. Does a nice job out there. But really shout out to Hayes, Garden City, Great Bend for some fine seasons and what they've been able to do so far out of the Western Athletic Conference.
And moving to the Central Kansas League, where the Central Kansas League has Pratt. Pratt takes on Andale tonight. Pratt 6-1 heading into that contest, and they'll have their hands full with Andale. Heston, in a district matchup, they're playing Wichita Collegiate. The winner of that game will probably win that district title. And Hoisington, they're pretty much they need a win to wrap up the district tonight as they take on Cimarron. And what do you know about what your thoughts on the Central Kansas League as it continues to impress?
You know, I've said all year, and I've said it year after year, I really like the Central Kansas League. I like the rushing attack, the toughness, and of course we've seen some of these teams make deep runs. Pratt's really having a nice season this year. They are 6-1, and you look at it overall, you know, Andale this week, they're not going to be favored in that one, but you got to really, give them a shout out. Their only loss coming to Cheney this year. They already know they're going to play Holcomb in the playoffs in round 1. Now, Hoisington's been a team I've been impressed with as well. They always seem to just reload there, not rebuild. Now, I know they lost to Pratt and Heston this year, but they've won their last 2 over Lake and Larned. They're against Cimarron this week. They'll be heavily favored in that one. Also been impressed with Heston this year. I know the Ferralis kid has been big at the quarterback. Proctor has only played in 4 games at receiver, but he's been good as well. They've won 4 out of their last 5, including victories over Clearwater and Chapman. Now, Kingman is a team that nobody seems to be talking about at all at 7-0. And is very good out of Class 2A. So I think that is certainly a team we need to circle. They're not in the Central Kansas League. But shout out to Pratt. You know, Haven's having a nice season at 3-1 in league play, 4-3 as well. So we'll continue to keep you updated, you know, of course, across the Central Kansas League each and every week, of course, when we're talking on this show. So really a lot to look at. There are high expectations for some of these teams as they're a state championship contender. Maybe not, but there's some teams that can win some playoff games. You know, don't count out Hoisington in Class 2A, as we've said. You know, Pratt, they're going to have their hands full, I feel like, no matter when they meet up with Andale. But outside of that, you know, probably taking Pratt over a lot of teams in that class. You know, obviously Cheney was a bad matchup for them earlier on in the season, but I think they can hold their own against a lot of teams in the Class 3A classifications. And we look at Class 2A and, you know, kind of where it's at. You look on the East, Nemaha Central, you know, on paper is the favorite. You know, they're in a district championship matchup with Sabetha this week. You know, Silver Lake and Rossville at District 3 to look at. Osage City and Council Grove playing a district championship this week. I think those are all teams we need to consider. The favorite on the West to a lot of people seems to be southeast of Saline. They meet up with Ellsworth in a district championship this week. But I think Kingman is likely that other team to look at, as is Hoisington. And even Beloit, a state runner-up from 1 year ago. So certainly a lot of teams to look at across the landscape of 2A football. Also, shout out to Jock Snitch, official apparel provider of Sports in Kansas, as well as Mammoth Sports Construction and Watco for powering everything we do on any of the updates we do across the state. So be sure to follow Sports in Kansas, Scores in Kansas. Over 350,000 followers across all of our platforms, as well as check out the Think Before You Post Power of Social Media Tour. As always, appreciate being on your show. Great stuff in Great Bend. And, of course, a lot to look forward to. It is Week 8 of the season. It'll be Week 9 before we know it. We'll be talking about playoffs. Seems like we were just talking in Week 1. Here we are already talking about brackets, you know, being put together and all that. A lot to play for. Exciting time of the year as we approach high school football playoffs. But best of luck to all of the teams across the state of Kansas, and we'll keep you updated across the state. As always, appreciate you having me on.
And special thanks, Chet Kuplan, as he it's amazing what Chet knows, and it's all pretty much right off the top of his head. That's Chet Kuplan from sportsinkansas.com. That's sportsinks.com. If you want the latest wrap-up from the weekend from Friday Night Football, go to sportsinks.com, and Chet and his crew will have it. We'll be right back with more Sports Day after this. You're listening to 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Venture Corporation is now hiring for a CDL tanker operator driver. We'll operate the same truck all week. New higher wages with flexible hours, no weekends, and time and a half over 40 hours. Blue Cross and Blue Shield health insurance, vision insurance, Section 125 cafeteria plan, 401k retirement plan with match. Venture Corporation is an equal opportunity employer. Women and minorities encouraged. Apply in person at 214 South Highway 281 in Great Bend. Online at venturecorpks.com or call Leslie at Venture Corporation. Homegrown, family owned.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
And you know we do a lot of cool things here at Eagle Communications in Great Bend. We give away cars, cash, go to cool events, but one thing we don't do very often is have an opening. Eagle in Great Bend currently has full-time openings in media sales and sports play-by-play, and we'd love to meet you on Thursday, October 27th. Come learn about these positions, tour the station, and find out why so many of our employee owners have made Eagle their career choice. Stop by Thursday, October 27th, anytime 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 1200 Baker in Great Bend. Eagle Communications is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey hunters, do you have everything you need for the fall hunting season? If not, then head to P&S Security for the shells, cases, decoys, and everything else you'll need. If it's time to upgrade to a new rifle, shotgun, or bow, P&S has it. And they sell hunting licenses and stamps. P&S has a good selection of gun safes too. So head out west to P&S, a division of P&S Electric, 1/2 mile west of 10th and Patton Road, Great Bend. Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined by a room full of kids today. Great Bend High School soccer players got freshman Alex Alonso, freshman Damien Mosqueda, and Coach Chuy Loera. Coach, I'm going to start with you. We're going to go back to Junction City last week.
Let's go for it.
Could have been a historic day for you, but you guys fall 2-1.
Yeah, we fell 2-1. I still felt we competed really well. We did enough to get a goal in, and like I said, keep that thing competitive. And yeah, I mean, aside from it would have been nice to get that 51, but I think the most important thing is that we're learning, we're getting better, and we're improving. And so, whether it happens next year or this year, not really my biggest concern. I just want to see these guys continue to improve and stay competitive like they have been.
Isn't that kind of a funny game where there's 2-1 at halftime and then nobody scores in the second half? A little bit unexpected?
Yeah, a little bit unexpected. As far as the low-scoring game, I thought maybe both teams would put up more goals than we did. I knew it was going to be close regardless of what the final result was. But, yeah, I was thinking maybe a 4-3 or a 5-4, but we ended up being 2-1, and so it was still close. And, yeah, Junction City, a lot of credit goes out to them. They're well coached, and they showed a lot of good sportsmanship and class throughout the whole night, and we really appreciated being able to compete against them.
And so one more for you before we break in the freshman here. Alex Galindo, he's been in here a couple times, kicker for the football team, captain of the soccer team. He goes down in the last minutes of that game and season over?
Yeah, it was last 2 minutes and change, and he went up to challenge a header that was in for a cross, and he did a great job of finding it. He made contact with it and challenged the goalkeeper, and arguably was a goal. It was right on the line. Of course, I want to say that it went in, but the official thought otherwise. But yeah, I think he made contact with the goal post and took a pretty deep hard fall, and I think he maybe hit his head a little bit, but had some concerns there with his lower back. But Ryan Zink didn't waste any time, went to go check him out, make sure he was okay, and eventually got the ambulance out there to get him taken care of, and we took him to the hospital. That way we can just look him over a little bit more. And at the end of the night, he was able to walk out of there on his own power, and thank goodness he was okay. And so it's just going to take some time for him to heal, but just to be safe, I think we're just going to keep him out the rest of the season. That way he can focus on what's next for him. But yeah, most important is health, and we're just glad he's healthy.
Great Bend High School varsity soccer coach Chuy Loera. So freshman Alex Alonso, you guys were out in Liberal, kind of a weird thing to begin with, where you were making up part of one game, playing another varsity game, but you guys were playing as 8th graders last year. how much more difficult is it jumping right into varsity against Western Athletic Conference teams?
It's gotten more difficult. It's like more physical, and like you have to connect more.
And Damien, so for you too, you were an 8th grader last year. How about the level of competition is 8th grade versus high-level varsity action?
Yeah, it changed a lot, but...
And Coach, so you're bringing on these guys. You've got no seniors this year, so kind of how fun to you also part of bringing up some freshmen.
Yeah, it's great to see a young group of kids come up, especially, straight out of middle school. They come up to the high school, and they have an understanding of the style of play that Great Bend wants to apply. And when we have a talented young group of kids like we do now, of course, when you talk rebuild, it's good to rebuild with young men like we have here, because we know that maybe we're top 2 seasons away from getting back to where we want to be. But no, I feel good. Great Bend Soccer's in good hands with especially with these 2 young men that are sitting here with us today.
So Alex and Damien, you got Dodge City, Garden City, Liberal, all very not only good schools in our conference, but good schools in the state, the biggest classification. Any intimidation when you go out and play on the turf at Dodge City or Garden City?
Not really. I'm just not trying to get hurt. Just trying to go.
Damien?
No, I'm not really scared or anything. It helps us improve more from playing harder teams.
So the Panthers have one more game left in the regular season, then we're going to get into regionals. Coach, you think there's going to be some travel involved?
I believe so. I think where we currently stand, we're almost guaranteed to travel. I think we're probably going to look for, I think we've got a 3-hour trip somewhere, whether it's northeast or southeast, but either way, we know that we're going to be able to match it pretty well with whoever it is that we get to go against, and we're looking forward to preparing for that game and maybe even looking to a first-round regional after the play-in, and we'll see where we go from there. But regardless of the results, I'm proud of how far these guys have come, especially, again, they were 8th graders last year, coming in as freshmen, getting thrown into the fire and competing against varsity players that are possibly 17 years old, older, stronger, taller, and these guys have no fear. They go for it. They prepare like champions, and they work like champions, and I know that in a couple of years, at the rate that we're working, we're going to get back to that championship level play.
Going to get you that 51. So freshman Alex Alonso, Damien Mosqueda, Coach Chuy Loera. Good luck, guys. Good luck on 51, and more Sports Day after this.
Thank you.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
Farmers depend on their equipment, and equipment depends on its fuel. Cenex Premium Diesel works as hard as you do and comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster even cleans up your injectors and prevents injector fouling, so your equipment can keep firing on all cylinders to make every day a field day. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Attention high school seniors, the time to think about that next step is right now. Get everything set up in a few hours at Barton Community College's Senior Day on November 16th. At Barton, you can take classes, transfer to a university, or enroll in a technical program entering the workforce after only one semester. Did we mention $6,000 in scholarships will be up for grabs? Sign up online at gobarton.com through November 1st to attend Senior Day.
This year's been a roller coaster, and not the fun kind. Businesses know it's a dangerous time to not know your numbers. That's why you need NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, inventory, HR, planning, and budgeting to identify rising costs, automate business processes, and save money. Over 31,000 businesses have the confidence they need because of NetSuite. See if you qualify for NetSuite's one-of-a-kind flexible financing offer. Head to netsuite.com/baseball right now. netsuite.com/baseball.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
And welcome back to Sports Day. I'm Mike Hesher, Mike Corson also with us. And we have had to rearrange. We had to do an audible this afternoon.
You want the best.
You need to see Doc. Okay, be quiet, please. Okay, there we go. We got that figured out. Okay. Had to play an audible, so we're a little confused here this afternoon. We are joined by a couple of Barton Community College Soccer. We have the head coach, and we're just going to go with OC because that's what everybody says, right?
Yes.
And we have Olivia Allen. She is from Mays. Welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and you guys currently are ranked 18th and have had a pretty good season.
Yes. Yes, we are ranked 18. We started as a receiving vote. The more we keep playing, the more we get into the ranking. So we were ranked high as a 12. And we lost a key game, which was Hutchinson Community College, and then we dropped to 17. And then now we are 18.
So you feel like you're getting stronger as you go along during the season?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And why is that?
Because we are playing together, we start in August, so it's not easy, we move player around and start looking for the best lineup shape. So then the more we play together, the more we play in the same system, the more we do better things,
And Olivia Allen joins us. She's from Mays. What brought you to Barton Community College from the Wichita area?
So when I was a junior in high school, I came on a visit here because I met him in Las Vegas at a tournament. And so when I came here, the girls were just so welcoming. I didn't know anyone. And so they really, made me feel like I was a part of the team even though I wasn't. They made sure that I knew everyone's names. They talked to me during practice, and it was just even though they were international, it was just such a cool experience that I wanted to be a part of.
Did you know much about Barton Community College before then?
No, I had no idea. Okay. It was only Hutch and Butler really in the Wichita area. Yeah.
But the teammates and the coach basically lured you to Great Bend.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's cool.
Yep.
Okay, Mike Corson.
Yeah, and Olivia's from Mays, and of course Great Bend plays Mays at times. Beat us in a really bad football game a couple years ago. Your quarterback at the time was Caleb Grill. Now he's at Iowa State playing basketball. Avery Johnson, we hope, is going to be at K-State. You actually got to go to school with those guys.
Yeah, so I actually knew Avery Johnson personally, and he is super humble. He, goes out into the community and really gets involved with all the kids and stuff like that, trying to become football players. And I was a freshman when Caleb Grill was really in the peak of his career, and just watching him during football games, he really carried the team, even though that wasn't his main sport. And going to basketball games, just watching him dunk, and it was just wild. All the stands were packed. When it was Mays versus Mays South, those games were crazy. And then he also did track too, so he was a 3-sport athlete.
Yeah, definitely. I think he was the state champ high jumper. And Coach, you're talking about August. You were out officiating the Great Bend games, and it was hot that day, and you were telling me you were having to take some days off. Was it crazier this fall because of the heat?
Yes. I mean, at the beginning of every year, we struggle with the heat because we play at 1 p.m., and that's tough on the girls. The heat really, make them tired. It's tough for everybody, So, yeah, August is always tough for us when we train or when we're playing,
And you guys, you're 18th ranked, 3 losses on the year. So back in August, you had wins of 6-0, 7-1. We're going to call it 18-0, and 6-0. So if anybody who knows soccer knows that that's a lot of goals. I think you guys are averaging over about 5 a game. But then your 3 losses are a total of 5-1. Couldn't you have spread that out a little better, Coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, take them when you can get them, Mike. You know that.
So we had some games here in Central Kansas, like Nickerson, Andale, where it was over 100 points on the football field. Southeast of Saline just beat Lions last week, 94-0. Is an 18? Olivia can answer this. Is 18-0 difficult to play in?
I think that game was absolutely insane. When we were there, it was I had never been in this situation before where it was 18-0. We were asking the ref, can we stop? Do we have to keep going? And he's
is there a mercy rule?
No, I thought in high school there is. It's 10-0, but
okay.
After that, in college, nope, you just keep going.
So was it gas to the floor the whole time, or did you guys kind of fill some time?
I definitely think we were walking at one point, and still scoring. Yeah.
Okay, Coach, we're talking with Coach OC from Barton Community College soccer team and Olivia Allen. Coach, what brought you to Great Bend?
Oh, I came to play soccer here.
Okay.
So Oliver recruited me, and then I stayed. And Don, was done. Then went to Fort Hayes. Then graduated from Fort Hayes. Then, went to Western Texas, my first coaching job. And then when I found out that they were looking for an assistant coach, so I applied and then came back. So I haven't left since.
So you left from Barton to go to Fort Hays. So you've been in Central Kansas for a couple of years now.
Oh, yeah.
Are you getting accustomed to it?
Nah.
Okay. We like that honesty.
And Olivia, so 1 goal and 3 assists this year. You said you were a midfielder in high school, and coach kind of moved you to defense, but you are the captain. What is the role of playing captain on the defensive side of the ball?
So I see a lot of the field. So me and also one of our other center backs, Hinata, we do a lot of the communicating between the back. We're like, okay, you need to pass here. And it's nice because we see a lot of the field from the defense. Since there's no, offensive captain, I kind of take on both roles of when, there's a foul and I need to go up and kind of, distance Nina's a lot of the time the one getting a little heated, so I'm always the one having to, pull her back. But off the field, I make sure, the team is always together, we're a family. I try and get the girls to come out and do stuff with us. On Wednesday, we just watched the Cali versus Hutch game to kind of prepare for us this Saturday. And I just want our team to be as close as we can be because it shows on the field as well.
And speaking of Hutch, I think they're ranked, but then you guys get them and Johnson County the last 2 home games of the year to kind of, how are the conference standings coming up late in the season?
So basically we have Hutch game Saturday. I believe if we beat them, we win conference, but we still have a game in hand. So I think tomorrow game will be the most important for us, and then, like I said, we have to beat them tomorrow so we can win conference.
So you want a big crowd?
Yes.
Tomorrow, 1 o'clock at Barton Community College.
The whole town.
Okay, the whole town come out. Okay, all righty. So, Coach, I'm going to ask you quickly. World Cup is coming up. Who do you favor in the World Cup?
My favorite is Spain.
Spain, really?
I always been Spaniard fan, because the way they move the ball. So that's the same thing we do here with my team. We move the ball, so we call it tiki-taka. So that's how Spain usually plays. So I'm a big fan of Spain because of that.
And Olivia? You shook your head with Spain. Is that as well?
Yes. So, my best friend is from Spain, and she kind of brainwashed me to support Spain. But, yeah. I mean, as an American soccer player, I don't really watch soccer a lot. I watch, football or basketball. But when it comes to World Cup time, I cheer on Spain.
So you say what brought you into soccer then? If you don't watch it a lot?
My dad, he was my soccer coach when I was younger, and he kind of pushed me to continue. And then all my 2 other sisters, they played soccer as well too. So it kind of I wanted to follow in their path.
Talking with Olivia Allen, sorry about that. She is from Mays and Coach O.C. from Barton Community College. Mike, any more questions?
Yeah, so I just finished Hope Solo's book, so she came up after the so-called 99ers, the Mia Hamm, the Brandy Chastains. So you would have just missed that, but was that still impactful to a player coming up, being a young girl that maybe soccer wasn't a big deal before 1999?
Yeah, so my older sister, she was around during that time, and that really impacted her. And so her influence on me, I was I always looked up to them, especially Alex Morgan. I wanted to be like Alex Morgan. I wanted to be a striker and score all the goals. But I've gone to a couple of the USA women's games that were in Kansas City, and just watching them play, it's just it pushes me more to get farther in my career and become better.
And so maybe one more for me, just as a junior college player, what are the opportunities now for young ladies with all the professional leagues popping up? And
I think it gives girls a really good chance to make themselves known and kind of go farther in their career, especially going to junior college and then going to a different school. Starting at junior college, it really helps you kind of get your name out there and kind of helps you become a better player and kind of get accommodated to college soccer, and going and playing D1 or D2, making your career farther. I think it's really giving the girls a chance to become big.
And that's your hope, to go on to at least the next level?
Yeah, I want to go on to play at least NCAA Division II, and I kind of want to stay a little close to home, like Missouri or Oklahoma, but definitely want to go to a 4-year.
Are you being recruited?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
'cause
Can you
I
divulge who is?
I graduate in December.
Right.
So I have Missouri Southern State University, Northeastern State University. I've talked to Fort Hays. I'm talking to a school in West Virginia, and then he's mentioned some other schools that.
So those schools you mentioned there are all MIAA.
Yes.
Which would keep you in the central part of the United
Yeah.
States.
Yep.
Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank
Okay, Coach, I have one final question. You have a big game tomorrow. What does the postseason play look like for junior college soccer?
So for the girls, so usually when the conference is over, we play East and West. So first from the West, we play fourth from the East. So that's how we do. So if we win tomorrow, then we finish first, and then we're gonna host it. So we're gonna play against the number 4 seed over there. They're gonna come to us. We're gonna play, and then whoever win that goes to Wichita. So playoff will be in Wichita, semifinal and final.
Well, I got one final question for Olivia. The Sporting Kansas City shirt, obviously a fan of Sporting Kansas City?
Yes, I go to a lot of games a lot up there, watching them. Like when Dom Dwyer was there, I loved him. Like always supported him. Even though he left and went to Orlando, I still support him.
Ah, that's bomb.
But yeah, I love Sporting Kansas City.
We have a young lady who works in the station here who you see her quite frequently in Sporting Kansas City garb. So
I will say, Mike, the other day somebody said, "Who's the Kansas City soccer team? Is it the Wizards?" I was like, "Oh, you're dated."
Not anymore.
Have you paid attention to the professional team in Kansas City now on the women's side?
Yes, the KC Current. Yeah.
Yes, I couldn't think of the name.
I've paid attention a lot to them. I know a couple girls that have gone up there and like kind of practiced with them as well from Wichita. And so they've kind of told me a lot about the girls there and how they're so nice and so caring, even for the younger girls. So.
Okay. Well, I thank Olivia, Allen, and Coach OC for joining us. And I will tell you next time you need to bring in some jerseys because the Barton Bowling Squad, as you can see from Mike, Mike Perry brought in some merchandise.
Yeah, but not T-shirts. I want the kit.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think we can do that.
Well, we do thank you for joining us. And a reminder, they're ranked 18th, and they play tomorrow, 1 o'clock at the college, and they play Hutch. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you guys for coming, and we'll be right back with more Sports Day after this. You're listening to 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
When you need to get rid of the best, you need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Get the latest 5G devices at Nextech Wireless. Now you can get the iPhone 14 Pro and the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus on us, or up to $999 off any other device. And that's not all. You can also get half off a new Apple Watch when you bring your number to us. Nextech Wireless. We are Kansas.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Okay, we did have to do a little bit of an audible there with the Barton Community College soccer team, but a special thanks to those two for coming in on this Friday afternoon. And we've been impressed with 95% of the young people who have been in the studio this year.
We got some learners, but I want to hear your Omaha.
My Omaha?
Your audible.
What? Omaha.
I didn't hear anything at the line. I was ready to go one play.
Okay, Peyton Manning's Omaha.
Yeah.
Omaha. Okay. Did he make that famous or not? Okay, so let's see. We got a couple minutes to spare. So we're going to go over first. Mike's got some information about Southeast of Saline and Beloit. But first, we're going to recap the Central Kansas League games tonight. Cimarron will be in Hoisington. Hoisington needs to win that one to wrap up the district. Larned is at Lakin and Andale. You would think it'd be a good game. Andale 7-0, Pratt 6-1, but everybody's, Andale hasn't lost since like the turn of the century, so they're not expecting much of a game there.
Yeah, that leads right into my Southeast of Saline chat when you're ready.
I knew that.
So Southeast of Saline, everybody, they've been number 1 in Class 2A all year, so that makes them obviously the favorites. So they went to the state finals, I believe, last year, the state semis in Class 3A. Guess who beat them? Andale. So they were 11-1 last year, so it's not like this is a new Trojan team. Senior quarterback Luke Gebhardt coaches kids, 70% completion, 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, and the big surprise is 9 interceptions. Usually a kid like that
doesn't throw interceptions in high school.
They got a track kid, Michael Murray and Landon Allen, 35 receptions each for over 900 yards, and then really 3 kids who can run at the quarterback, and then 2 other kids for 1,100 yards. Ellsworth coming in 7-0, allowed 6 points in the first 5 weeks, and Beloit is now 5-2, so they only allowed 6 points against Beloit.
Yeah, Beloit has rebounded after a tough start.
And what we haven't talked about is only 2 seniors on the team. Basically, all the impact players on Ellsworth are sophomores and juniors.
Are they really?
So you got junior quarterback Will Cravens. He's thrown for 846 with 12 touchdowns and 1 interception. And then you got juniors Wyatt Bonin and Loden West on the ground, 860 yards and combined 12 touchdowns. And then Cole Weber's been a big guy at receiver, 441 yards on 22 receptions and 10 touchdowns, so he's averaging 20 a catch. So you hear all the big dogs talk, and Southeast is the team to beat until proven otherwise. But if Ellsworth's defense can get some stops and turnover, then anything's possible.
And you will see that game firsthand.
As long as I don't hit any deer on the way to Gypsum, Kansas.
That's a major concern. And, we know who you can take your car to, Cole Body Shop. We won't be. So, and where Southeast of Saline is at. It's between Gypsum and Assyria on Highway 4. It is between the 2 communities.
And now they got phones that tell you that. So
you're one of those. I'm a little step above Webby. I do have a smartphone, not just a flip phone, but I don't use it that much. Okay. So other area 11-man games. Sterling is taking on Elwood. Both squads are 2-5. Russell is having a great season for Russell. They're 4-3. They traveled to Norton to take on the Blue Jays at 5-2. And then, as we mentioned, Beloit, they're 5-2. They will finish up the week 8 in Hayes against TMP Marion. A couple of area 8-man games. Wilson is at Central Plains. Victoria will take on Otis Bison. That's a 7-0 versus an 0-7. Kiowa County, another 0-7 versus. Too bad they couldn't have flipped those, and Maxville and Victoria play again because. But Kiowa County is at Maxville. St. John will take on South Central. La Crosse will be traveled west to Ness City. Stafford 7-0. The Trojans still looking good as they play Kinsley in Kinsley. Kinsley stands at 4-3. Skyline 1-6 takes on Trigo Community. That's in Joaquini, as Webby made a point earlier this week. They're 4-3. He can be stubborn, can't he? He's our boss, but we love him.
Yeah, when you do the track rankings for the whole state, especially in 1A, where you've got a lot of those consolidations, you get to know the Bird City Shaylins and the
Shylin, I believe.
Shylin.
Yes, I
only know how to spell it.
Well, SCH is CHEYLIN. Shylin. I had a cousin get married in Bird City a long time ago. So yeah, we are big dogs. We're from Larned. We went to Bird City. We were top dog. Bird City's not very big. Okay. And football tomorrow, college level. We talked a little bit about K-State as they take on TCU. That game is at 7 on FS1. And then KU travels to Waco to take on Baylor. That's an 11 o'clock start, and that is on ESPN2.
And that one might take a while. If both of those offenses do what they're capable of, that could be a long game. Set your DVR for the extra hour option, not the half-hour option.
You learned that the hard way, didn't you?
I've learned that the hard way several times. You would think I would put the extra hour on, but speaking of, we haven't got to say that, but so Tennessee was fined $100,000 after the field rush.
Right.
I think each of the goalposts was around $23,000. I hope the EPA fined them for throwing them in the river. But so you would think that's a big deal, but there were over 100,000 people there. That's $1 apiece. And then you've got the president of the university smoking his celebratory cigar after the particular Alabama win and says, I want to do this every week.
That could get expensive, but, 100,000 people in the stadium, they could probably pay for it. Just about out of time. We got about 10 seconds left. We thank you. It's been a great week, and we'll be back on Monday. Steve will be back. You're listening to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB at 95.5 FM.